welcome to Yoga with Kai. This is Shanti and Samson. They're gonna probably just hang out here. They may fight. If they do, I'm sorry. Today's practice, we're gonna do just a happy spinal flow, and make sure that you have maybe 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, books work really great, and a strap, or if you don't have a strap, go ahead and find a tie and come to your mat. So what we're going to start with is a little bit of pranayama, and pranayama is life breath, so it's just bringing a little bit of awareness to the energy in our body, where it's residing, and also just connecting with the breath. So go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seated posture. We call this easy seat pose. Typically, you want to go ahead and tuck one foot in towards the groin. If you notice, I'm leveled up onto these blocks for my hips. And I'm going to go ahead and take the other foot in, try to find the heels stacking. From here, I'm going to go ahead and begin to integrate my core. So by integrating the core, I'm going to get those lower ribs to stack right over the top of my hip bones. So just finding a neutral pelvis. From here, I'm going to begin to lengthen up through my spine, begin to roll the shoulders back, allow the palms to face up. Go ahead and close your eyes. Begin to take some nice cleansing breaths, recognizing the rise and fall of the chest. And see if you can translate your breath down to the belly. Inhale, allowing the belly to rise. Exhale, the belly falling. A few more breaths. And seeing if you can begin to incorporate a wave-like breath through the body, starting from the belly, working its way up to the ribs, into the shoulders. Maybe take a moment and set your intention for your yoga practice today on your mat, why you're here, what you're seeking, maybe what you're looking to find. We'll slowly begin to guide the hands out to the side of the body. On the inhale, guide the hands up overhead, allow the gaze to follow. Exhale, release the hands down. Inhale, rise up. And release. 2 more. Next, inhale, guiding the arms up. Exhaling the hands to heart center. From here, with hands at heart center, press the palms together. Allow the wrist and elbows to find themselves in the same plane. Take a few breaths. Once again, keeping the integrity of the midline of the body. Feel free to close the eyes. Take a few breaths here. Finding that wave-like breath through the body. And when you're ready, releasing the hands down. Feel free to flutter the eyes open. All right, so now that we took that time just to connect with the breath and find a little bit of movement with the breath, we're gonna find even more, okay? So what we're gonna go into is a little bit of lateral flexion. So when we go into lateral flexion, keep in mind of keeping the hips level. Once again, sit bones rooted down. From here, we'll take the palms facing up. We'll inhale, extend the arms up. On the exhale, release the left hand down, reach over through the right. Notice I'm moving with the exhale to deepen into this lateral flexion. For me, that's what works. You can play around with it. Sometimes the inhale helps people deepen, sometimes it's the exhale. So it's whatever your preference is and what works with your breath. Each exhale, maybe exploring a little bit deeper, or inhale. Notice that the sit bones are still rooted down, creating space through the side body, and opening up the breathing muscles of the body. Once again, finding that wave-like breath starting from the belly to the chest to the shoulders, and rippling back down. On your next inhale, guiding the arms back up overhead. Exhale, release the right hand down to the side, reach through the left, sit bones rooted down. Take a few breaths. Feel free to close the eyes if that helps you connect a little bit deeper with your breath. Next inhale, guiding the arms back up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Press the palms of the hands towards each other. Try to find the wrists and elbows in the same plane. And when you're ready, release the hands down. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into some spinal twists. Now in spinal twists, a lot of what we wanna focus on is softening the midline of the body, almost like you're wringing out a washcloth. So from here, let's go ahead and extend one leg out. We'll bend one knee. So I'm gonna take my left leg out, bend the right knee. I'm gonna interlace my hands, place them on the outside of my knee. From here, inhale, lengthen up through the spine. On the exhale, soften the midline, twist into the bent knee. Hand can go into the lumbar spine if that feels good. Soften, maybe each exhale, giving you that green light to go a little bit deeper into the twist. Once again, both sit bones are rooted down, allowing the hips to stay level. See if you can hold integrity of the core, extend the arm out, and maybe take the elbow on the outside of the knee. You can create a mudra here. On the next inhale, return back to center. We'll swap sides, extend out the right leg, bend the left knee, interlace the hands, take them on the outside of the knee. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, soften and twist into the bent knee. Notice that I'm keeping energy out through that extended leg, keeping the foot flexed. Hand can come into the lumbar spine. Sit bones are rooted down. See if you can keep integrity of the core. Extend the other arm out. Maybe the elbow finds itself to the outside of the knee, creating a little mudra. Next inhale, go ahead and unwind. Okay, so from here we're going to swap up the legs. So whatever leg you had in first, go ahead and do the opposite leg. Back to Sukhasana, easy seat pose. From here, we're going to go through some seated cat-cows. So go ahead and take the hands up to the hips. And what's happening here is we're finding an anterior tilt of the pelvis and a posterior tilt of the pelvis. So go ahead and pop the booty back. Notice that the hip bones roll down towards the heels. Okay, good. And then roll back. Okay, hip bones are drawing up towards the ribs. So now let's incorporate with a breath, okay? On the inhale, go ahead, rock the hip bones down towards the heels, pop the booty. On the exhale, draw the ribs and hips towards each other, contracting the core. Inhale, drop the hips. Exhale, contract the core. Good, hands can now come to the knees. Inhale. Exhale. You can incorporate this movement all the way up through the spine. Allow the cervical spine to come into this. Dropping chin to chest, opening up the throat. For 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Returning back to a neutral spine. So we got our warm up in. So now we're going to go ahead and take it to hands and knees. So if you're warmed up, take your jacket off, okay? Now, for the rest of this class, I'm going to encourage the use of blocks underneath the hands. It just allows us to open up the posterior chain of the body just a little bit better. So make sure that your props are up towards the top of the mat. That way they're readily available to you. From here, we're going to come to tabletop pose. Now in tabletop pose, we want to find the wrist, elbow, shoulders stacking. Same with the knees and hips. Go ahead and spread your fingertips out nice and wide and make sure that you root down through the pointer finger mound. This is a really common thing for this to lift. And if this lifts, it can put a lot of pressure on the inside portion of the wrist. So make sure you're rooting down through the finger point mound. Okay. We're going to go into cat-cow. So same thing that we went into seated, but now we're on our hands and knees. On the inhale, go ahead and drop the hip bones down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift through the head. Exhale, round through the spine. Navel in. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, push the floor away, round between the shoulders, drop the head. And go ahead and flow for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. And return back to a neutral spine. So if you noticed, as I was going through that, I really worked on focusing on my breath. If you know me, I'm really anal about breath. But it's because I have CF, and being able to breathe is super important to me, and to understand how to control and slow my breath, it's just made a huge difference in my life. So that's important to me. I hope it's important to you. But with the breath, right? The inhale, we're opening up, creating space. On the exhale, we're contracting and pushing all the air out. Now, the concept that I believe behind this is when you let all of the air out of the body, it will actually help open up and create more space in your lungs. So you're gonna get a bigger return in the volume. So putting that emphasis on the exhale, I've noticed has made a huge difference for me in my yoga practice. Some might argue differently, but that's what I've noticed for my practice. So from here, let's go ahead and take the hands up to the blocks, okay? Once again, we're gonna move with the breath. We're gonna integrate a little bit of heat, okay? So in yoga, we call this tapas, or the discipline. So finding the hands on the blocks, make sure the blocks are on your sticky mat. We're gonna tuck all 10 toes. On the exhale, I'm gonna puff up through the spine, lift the knees up. Inhale, drop the knees down, cow. Exhale, puff up. Call this beast pose. Inhale. Exhale, puff up. Inhale. Exhale, puff up. Inhale. On the next exhale, we're gonna puff up, lift the hips back, sink the hips down to downward facing dog. So the nice thing about utilizing the blocks in downward facing dog is it takes some pressure off the shoulders, and it allows you to sit back in towards the heels a little bit more, once again, opening up the posterior chain of the body a little bit better. From here, go ahead and bend the elbows out to the side of the mat, and then wrap them back. This is going to create a little bit of stability through the shoulder girdle. Then begin to sink back, finding an activated downward facing dog. Allow the head to fall here. Maybe shake the head yes, shake the head no. Really allowing yourself to observe if you're holding any tension through your neck. From here, go ahead and begin to lift up onto the toes. Each exhale, walking the foot forward to the hands. I call these monster walks. You're plugging in the femur, plugging in, making your way to your forward fold. Now, I have really open hamstrings. If your hamstrings are tight, go ahead and take a deep bend in the knee and allow the chest to come towards the thighs. This is going to release tension in the lower back and keep the spine integrity there, okay? From here, go ahead and wrap the hands behind the hamstrings. Take a few breaths here, building up. If you would like to open up the hamstrings a little bit more, keeping the chest towards the thighs. On the exhale, lift the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Allow the head to fall. Inhale, bending the knees. Exhale, lifting the sit bones up. Inhale. Exhale. Next, inhale, release the bind of the hands and come up to a halfway lift. Now, come to a true halfway lift here. A lot of times in yoga class, I see people come here to a halfway lift. Okay, allow your ego to drop and come to a true halfway lift. Trying to find those shoulders and the hips in the same plane. When we're here, we can really work on rolling the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and broadening across the sit bones. Take a few breaths. Once again, freeing the belly, drawing the breath up the body and back down. Next, exhale, begin to fold over. Once again, you can take that bent knee. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, extended mountain. And exhale, hands to heart. Awesome. Now in mountain pose, find the feet parallel. Okay, we're actively lifting the arches up, firming the thighs. Go ahead and find that neutral pelvis, okay? And when I talk neutral, typically it's those lower ribs stacking over the hips, okay? Now, one thing that I learned from one of my trainings with authentic movements was if you're doing this, okay, you're not allowing yourself to fully breathe. And this is really common for a lot of women. So seeing if you can find that space through the backside of the body will help those lungs to fully expand because that's where they're located, okay? So go ahead and find that neutral spine. Roll the shoulders back. Allow the palms to face up. Take a few breaths. Once again, that wave-like breath. Good. Next, inhale, guide the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Bent knee if that feels good to you. Inhale, halfway lift. True halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, guide the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Last round, inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Awesome. Now we're going to go into lateral flexion, moving side to side. So we're going to pair it all together. From mountain pose, inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, lateral flexion through one side. You can grip the hand if you'd like, or you can drop a hand down. Trying to keep the hips level here. Common tendency is to drop a hip back. See if you can keep it forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, releasing down other side. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, lateral flexion. Inhale, rise. Exhale, other side. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Neutralize the spine. Okay, so that was a half sun salutation flow. It's a really great flow to energize the body. So now we're going to go ahead and take it to a full sun salutation. Hopefully you don't hit shanty. Okay, from here, mountain pose. Inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, transition back to plank. Take the hands to the blocks. Exhale, drop the knees. Go ahead and wrap the triceps back. Come to chaturanga. Now chaturanga, you just want the shoulders above the elbow or in line with the elbow. No need to go below. Okay, from here, press through the tops of the feet, charge up the thighs, lift through the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together, upward dog. On the exhale, contract the core. Flip the toes back to downward dog. In downward dog, once again, wing the elbows out, wrap them back, shift the hips back for shoulder stability. See if you can see the inside of the heels. If you can, gently shift them out so they're not visible to your view. On the next inhale, go ahead and bring the gaze towards the hands. Each exhale, walking forward to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, lateral flexion. Inhale, rise. Exhale, other side, lateral flexion. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Awesome. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed that sun salutation. So let's go ahead and go into a lunge, okay? So lunges are really great. Typically, if you do it in a sense of being able to stretch the psoas, it can relieve a lot of back pain. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the left foot forward and extend the right leg back, okay? Try to find the knee and ankle stacking to where it's about a 90, okay? Common tendencies that we see here is popping the booty back a lot. Now, once again, notice what happens through the back side of the body. It kind of limits our breath, okay? So see if you can get those hips to neutral, neutralize the spine, getting the lower ribs to stack over. And once you do that, you might notice a little bit more of a stretch through your groin, okay, or the psoas. Then from here, begin to charge out through that back leg. Notice that I'm on the very pad of my foot and I'm reaching out through the heel, okay? Energetically hug the legs together. Arms can extend up. Begin to find your breath. Once again, finding that wave-like breath through the body. Freeing the belly. Going up the ribs, up the shoulders. Drop the shoulders. Knit the ribs in, navel to spine. Good. Next, inhale, lift up through the spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips, find the hands to the blocks. From here, push into the blocks, squeeze the leg back to plank. Puff up between the shoulders, drop the knees down. Take the shoulders and elbows to the same plane. Inhale, lift through the heart, activate the legs. Exhale, contract the core. Extend back, downward dog. Take a few breaths. When you're ready, bring the gaze forward. Each exhale, walking forward to a forward fold. From here, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise the arms all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, arms to cactus. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. 2 more. And when you're ready, returning hands to heart center. Now we're going to try the other side. So go ahead and take the right foot in between the blocks, extend the left leg back. Okay? Knee and ankle are stacking through the lead leg, charge up through the back leg, heel and pad of the foot are stacking. From here, go ahead and find that neutral spine, okay, or pelvis. Okay? Energetically squeeze the legs together to create stability and drawing energy into the midline, okay? From here, inhale, extend the arms up. Find your breath. Once again, that wave-like breath. Don't be embarrassed to let the belly puff out. Good, next inhale, grow up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Take the hands down to the blocks. Transition back to plank pose. Exhale, drop the knees, chaturanga. Inhale, press through the tops of the feet, charge up the legs, upward facing dog. Exhale, contract the core, downward facing dog. When you're ready, go ahead and drop down to the knees, down to the booty. Perfect. All right, so legs are gonna come out in front. Now, if you are a little bit of a stiffer body, I really recommend utilizing the blocks for the booty, okay? If you're not a stiff body and you can reach the toes easily, you can go ahead and just find your hips on the floor. But I'm gonna demo for the tired body, okay? So, blocks are right behind me. I'm gonna lift my booty up, put myself up on the blocks, okay? So, if you're just starting yoga, sometimes it's a little hard to be aware of where your hips are at or what your pelvis is doing. So, the blocks is a really great way to understand anterior and posterior tilt. So, with our booties up on the blocks, we're gonna go ahead and take our strap or our tie or books, okay, and wrap it around the pad of the foot. Now, the reason why we go around the pad of the foot is it allows us to find full flexion through the feet, and it activates the front side of the body. That way the back side can release. The body is like a pulley system, okay? So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and hook my sit bones to the very edge of the block, okay? Arms are extended out. I'm gonna lift through my heart. Notice that I'm keeping that neutral spine here. Those lower ribs and the hips are stacking over top of each other. From here, I'm gonna take an inhale. On the exhale, I'm gonna bend the elbows to the side body and fold over. Now, with those sit bones on the very edge of the block, the concept is to help you tilt into that anterior tilt of the pelvis, okay? And you might even notice that with each exhale, you might slip off the blocks, which is great. That's what we're working towards, okay? So you're just gonna keep working with your breath. Notice again that I cinched up onto the strap, okay? And then each exhale, bending the arms, folding over a little bit more. Maybe I slowly slip off the edge of the blocks a little bit. Hands are gonna extend out again. Exhale. Bending the elbows, folding over. Good. Go ahead and do about 2 more. And you might notice too in the video that my sit bones are slowly creeping off of the blocks. If your sit bones don't creep off the blocks, it's totally fine, okay? Once you've gone as far as you can go, keeping those feet flexed, pinky toes coming back towards your head, go ahead and fold over, allow the head to fall, take some deep breaths here. Next inhale, go ahead and rise up. Awesome. Okay, so moving the strap aside, now we're going to go into a little bit of an open heart before we go into Shavasana. So this is a really simple and effective way to relieve tension through the shoulders and to open up the body. We're so much here with driving, texting, anything really in life. We're just forward moving beings, which is fine, but we also want to take the time to counteract that. So we're going to go ahead and take the blocks like this. Okay. This is going to be for the head. This is going to be for the shoulders. So I'm going to go ahead and place this here. Other one right there. Shoulders are going to wrap around the lengthwise block. Okay. And you might have to adjust as you lay back, but you'll do what feels comfortable. Okay. From here, let the shoulders roll open. Allow the palms to face up. Go ahead and take a few breaths here. When you're ready, go ahead and extend the arms up overhead. Go ahead and grab one wrist. On the exhale, reach over to one side. Maybe the head falls over. Nice, Shanti. Right. And then when you're ready, inhaling back to center. Exhaling other side. Coming back to center. Go ahead and roll over to your right side. You can move the blocks out from underneath of you. Just push them aside. Come down onto your back, lying flat. Maybe gently tucking the shoulders under you. Okay. Let the palms face up, or they can face down, whatever you prefer. Feet can fall open. Coming to Shavasana, the resting pose. So take about 3 to 5 minutes in this pose at first. For some people it's hard to relax, which that's totally fine. I totally get it. So just give yourself about 3 minutes in this pose. Relax. Go ahead and close your eyes. Maybe take some cleansing breaths. Relax the jaw. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. I invite you to begin to deepen your breath. Slowly wiggling the toes. Then the fingers. When you're ready, go ahead and extend the arms up overhead in a final stretch. Reach out through the toes, the fingertips. And when you're ready, go ahead and make your way to the left or right side of the body. Doesn't matter which. Take a moment here just to rest on the side. Recognize how your body feels. Take a moment of gratitude for your body being able to carry you through a yoga practice today. Honoring the space between each breath. Allow the head to feel heavy and slowly begin to press yourself up to a seat, allowing the eyes to be closed or gaze to be soft. We'll go ahead and take hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me for a yoga practice. My prayer is that you feel good and that you feel a little bit of a deeper connection with your breath and body. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Shanti. Come here.